Hello everyone! I hope you're doing wonderful today. Again, as normal, what I need you to do is go to the folder in which you found this video. Go ahead and download the notes or print them out, and you can go ahead and get them out from your in-person classes if you have chosen to do that. So today we're going to be talking about 1 and 2 step equations and basically how to solve equations, which you should have seen in middle school or something like that. So what we're going to talk about is how do we actually go about finding what the variable should be equal to in order to make this statement true. So what we're going to be talking about, one-step equations means you just have to do one thing. Two-step means you have to do two things. All right? So let's go ahead and get started. Again, in order to receive points for this video, what you need to do is upload your completed notes to Google Classroom, and I will give you your allotted points then. All right, let's get started. So, for the first one, we have one-step equations. So for number 1, basically what this is saying, what does m have to be equal to so that whenever you add 12 to it, you get 10? And the way we can find that is we just have to get rid of this 12. And what I mean by get rid of is we need to make it 0. So we can change this 12 to 0 by subtracting 12, since we were adding here. And whatever we do on one side of the equal sign, we have to do on the other. So we're also going to have minus 12. So we have m plus 12 minus 12. Well, that just gives us m, because these things go to 0. And then we have equals 10 minus 12. Well, 10 minus 12 is negative 2. Since we have the letter equal to a number, we're done. So this gives us our variable. We know that m is equal to negative 2, and that's going to be our answer. All right, let's look at number 2. We have negative 2 is equal to g minus 9. So the thing we have to get rid of on this equation would be the minus 9. So how can we get that to 0? Well, we can add 9, and whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. All right, this goes to 0. Negative 2 plus 9 gives us 7, and that's equal to, what's left on this side? Well, g. Well, we have a letter is equal to a number, and we're done. So g is equal to 7, and that's our answer for number 2. Number 3, we have negative 7y is equal to negative 91. All right, so what we have to do is we have to get rid of this negative 7. And this time, since it's multiplication, we have to reduce it to 1. So what's a way that we can change this negative 7 into a 1? Well, we can divide it by negative 7. Well, whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. So we have to divide both sides by negative 7. Negative 7y divided by negative 7. Well, these things cancel to 1, and 1 times y is just y. Negative 91 divided by negative 7. Well, 2 negatives makes a positive. 91 divided by 7 is 13. Okay? We have a letter is equal to a number, and we're done. Moving on to number 4. We have a divided by 9 is equal to negative 4. So basically, what divided by 9 is equal to negative 4? Well, we can figure that out by getting rid of the division by 9. And since we're dividing by 9, we can do the opposite. So we're going to multiply by 9. Whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. All right? 9 times a over 9, well, those 9's cancel, leaving us with just a is equal to negative 4 times 9 gives us negative 36. And that's our answer for number 4. A is equal to negative 36. All right, let's talk about number 5. So fractions, how can we get rid of them? Well, in mathy terms, we say we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Or we're going to flip the fraction. And we're going to multiply. Alright, so number 5. We have 2/3 x is equal to 10. So we have to get rid of this 2/3. So we have to multiply by the reciprocal. Well, we flip it. So that's 3 over 2, and we're going to multiply. Whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. So we're going to multiply by 3 over 2 on this side as well. 3 on top, 3 on bottom, 2 on top, 2 on bottom. So those cancel, leaving us with just x is equal to. Well, now we have to figure out what this is. So this 10 we can change into a fraction, 10 over 1. We're now multiplying fractions, so we're going to multiply straight across. So we have 10 times 3, which is 30, over 1 times 2, which is 2. So we have x is equal to 30 over 2, but this isn't simplified yet, so we're not done. So 30 over 2 can be reduced to 15, and this is our simplified answer. And our final answer for number 5, so x is equal to 15. Alright, let's move on to number 6. We have 4/9 w is equal to negative 8. So we have to get rid of this fraction. The way we can do that is we multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal for 4/9 is 9/4, and we're multiplying. We have to do that on the other side as well. Alright, 9 on top, 9 on bottom, they cancel. 4 on top, 4 on bottom, they cancel, leaving us with just w is equal to, well, we have to do this again. So we have negative 8 multiplied by 9. That gives us a negative 72 divided by 1 times 4, which is 4. So this is one of our answers, but it's not simplified, so we're not done yet. So we have w is equal to negative 72 divided by 4 gives us an answer of negative 18. Alright, and that's going to be our final answer for number 6. Number 7, we have negative 6 over 5k is equal to 12. So we have to get rid of the negative 6 over 5. The way we can do that is multiply by the reciprocal. Well, the reciprocal is negative 5 over 6, and we're multiplying. And we have to multiply both sides by it. Alright, 5 on top, 5 on bottom. 6 on top, 6 on bottom. And we have two negatives. If we multiply those together, we get a positive. Alright, so we're just left with k on this side. Well, time to multiply fractions again. So we have 12 times negative 5. That gives us negative 60. 1 times 6 is 6. And then we don't really have to rewrite this one since it's kind of easy. So we have negative 60 divided by 6. Well, that gives us negative 10. And that's our answer for number 7. Number 8, we have negative 1/2 m is equal to negative 9. So what we're going to do is we have to get rid of this negative 1/2. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Well, negative 1/2's reciprocal is negative 2 over 1. And we're multiplying. Alright, and we also have to do this on the other side. 2 on bottom, 2 on top, 1 on bottom, 1 on top. 2 negatives make a positive, and we're left with m is equal to, well, we have fractions. What's negative 9 multiplied by negative 2? That gives us positive 18 over 1 times 1 is 1. And 18 over 1 just simplifies to 18. That's our final answer. So, those are some examples for one-step equations and one-step equations with fractions. So, let's talk about two-step equations. So with two-step equations, we have two separate rules. So the first thing we need to do is undo the addition or subtraction. and we're removing the constant term. And then we have to undo the multiplication or division. In other words, we're removing the coefficient. So let's try that with number 9. So the first thing, we have to undo the addition or subtraction, or we're removing the constant term. So we have to remove this positive 8. The way we do that, since it's plus 8, we have to subtract 8. Alright, this goes to 0. On this side, we have 6x is equal to 50 minus 8 is 42. And now we just have another one-step equation. So we have to undo the multiplication or division, or we remove this coefficient. So how can we remove this 6x? Well, since it's being multiplied, we can divide by 6. This goes to 1. We also have to divide by 6 on this side. So we have x is equal to 42 divided by 6 is 7. A little bit more work, but the same difficulty. So x is equal to 7 is our final answer for number 9. Number 10, we have 2n minus 5 is equal to 11. So we have to get rid of the constant term first. So it's negative 5 or minus 5. So that means we have to add 5 to both sides. So we have 2n is equal to 11 plus 5 is 16. Now we have to get rid of this 2, or the coefficient. In order to do that, we have to divide by 2. And we have 2n divided by 2. Well, that's just n. We have 16 divided by 2, which is 8. That's our final answer. Let's look at number 11. We have 13 is equal to negative 4k plus 9. We have to remove the constant term first, so we have to get rid of this 9. Since it's plus 9, we can just minus 9. We have to do that on both sides. 13 minus 9 is 4. It's equal to. This goes to 0. We're left with negative 4k. And we have to get rid of this negative 4. Well, since it's being multiplied by the k, what we have to do is divide by negative 4. Do that on both sides. This goes to 1, and we're left with k is equal to 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1. That's our answer for number 11. Number 12. 7 minus 3y is equal to 34. So, first step, we have to get rid of this constant term. So the 7. There's not a sign out here, so we know it's positive. How do we get rid of a positive 7? Well, we subtract 7. And we do that to both sides. This goes to 0. We're left with negative 3y is equal to 34 minus 7 gives us 27. Now we have to get rid of this negative 3. Since it's being multiplied by the y, we have to divide by negative 3 on both sides to get rid of it. That leaves us with y is equal to 27 divided by negative 3 is negative 9. Alright. And let's move on to the second page. Number 13. We have x divided by 2 minus 7 is equal to 9. So, we have to get rid of this constant term first. So we have to add 7 to both sides. If we add 7 to both sides, we have, this goes to 0. So we're with x over 2 is equal to 9 plus 7 is 16. And now we have to get rid of this division by 2. And the way we do that is, since 2 is dividing, we're going to multiply by 2. So, 2 times x over 2, well, these 2's cancel. We're left with x is equal to 16 times 2 is 32. That's our answer. 14. We have 11 is equal to c divided by negative 5 plus 8. First thing we have to get rid of is the plus 8. So we have to subtract 8 from both sides. 11 minus 8 is going to be 3 is equal to c over negative 5, because these 8's cancel. Alright, we have to get rid of this division by 5. So it means we have to multiply by negative 5. Alright. So this cancels. We're left with c on the right side. And then we have negative 5 times 3, which is negative 15. And that right there is our final answer. Alright, number 15. We have 3 over 5x plus 22 is equal to 28. We have to get rid of this plus 22. So we have to subtract 22. So that means we have 3 over 5x is equal to 28 minus 22 is 6. Now we have to get rid of this fraction. Remember, to get rid of it, we multiply by the reciprocal. And we have to do that on both sides. Alright. 5 on top, 5 on bottom. 3 on top, 3 on bottom. That leaves us with x is equal to. We have to change the 6 into a fraction. Multiply straight across. 6 times 5 is 30. Over 1 times 3 is 3. Well, 30 divided by 3 is 10. That's our answer. Number 16. We have negative 1/3 m plus 1 is equal to negative 7. We have to get rid of this plus 1 first, so we're going to subtract 1. Alright, this goes to 0. We have negative 1/3 m is equal to negative 7 minus 1 is going to give us negative 8. Alright, we have to get rid of this fraction now. So negative 1/3's reciprocal is negative 3 over 1, and we're going to multiply. Alright, 3 on top, 3 on bottom, 1 on top, 1 on bottom. Negative times negative is positive. So we have m is equal to, let's change this negative 8 into a fraction. Negative 8 multiplied by negative 3. Well, negatives multiplied together gives us positive. That's 24 over 1 times 1 is 1, and 24 over 1 is just 24. That's our answer. Okay, number 17. We have negative 10 plus 7 over 4p is equal to negative 38. We have to get rid of this negative 10 first. So we have to add 10 to both sides. This goes to 0. We're left with 7 over 4p is equal to negative 38 plus 10 is negative 28. Alright, now we have to get rid of this 7 over 4. The way we do that is we multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to have 4 over 7 multiplied by. We have to do that on both sides. Alright, 4 on top, 4 on bottom, 7 on top, 7 on bottom. So that's left with just p is equal to, put negative 21 over, or negative 28 over 1, and then multiply this across. Negative 28 times 4 is negative 112 divided by 1 times 7 is 7. And then we can say negative 112 divided by 7 gives us negative 16. That's our answer for number 17. Number 18, we have 15 is equal to 9 minus 1 over 2x. We have to get rid of this constant. So we have to subtract 9 from both sides. 15 minus 9 is 6 is equal to, this goes to 0. We're left with negative 1/2 x. We have to get rid of this negative 1/2 now. The way we do that is we multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by negative 2 over 1. Do that on both sides. Negative 2 times 6, negative 12. Over 1 times 1 is 1 is equal to 2 on top, 2 on bottom, 1 on top, 1 on bottom, and negatives make a positive. Leaves us with x. Negative 12 over 1 simplifies to just negative 12. And that is our answer. So these problems aren't always like this. So if we look at 19 through 22, it changes a little bit. So what we have to do is get rid of the multiplication or division first, and then we do the addition or subtraction whenever the problems look like this. So we have to get rid of this division by 8, and the way we do that is we multiply by 8, and we do that on both sides. So 8 on top, 8 on bottom. We're left with x plus 11 is equal to negative 3 multiplied by 8 gives us negative 24, and then we can get rid of the constant term. So in this case, we can subtract 11 on both sides, and that gives us x is equal to negative 35. Alright, and that's our answer. Let's look at number 20. So we have to get rid of this negative 2. That means we have to multiply by negative 2. Alright, 2 on top, 2 on bottom, and then the negatives make a positive. That's left with negative, or 5, that's left with n minus 5 is equal to negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14. Now we have to solve this equation, and the way we can do that is get rid of the addition or subtraction. In this case, we're going to get rid of this negative 5 by adding 5. So we have n is equal to 14 plus 5 is 19, and that's our final answer. Alright, number 21. We have 1 is equal to a minus 13 over negative 6. We have to get rid of this negative 6 first, so that means we have to multiply by negative 6 on both sides. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6 is equal to, these two things cancel. We're left with a minus 13. We have to get rid of the minus 13, so we're going to add 13 to both sides. And that leaves us with 7 is equal to, these cancel, a. And that's our answer for number 21. Number 22. We have to get rid of this 9. So that means we have to multiply by 9. They cancel. We have to do the same thing on the other side. 9 times 4 is 36. That's equal to w plus 8. Now we have to get rid of this plus 8. So we're going to subtract 8. We're left with 28 is equal to, these things cancel, w. And that's our final answer. Now this is one of the most important things that we're going to be learning in this class. So if you're having any issues with this, you need to let me know as soon as possible so I can work with you in order for you to understand this. If you're an in-person or blended student, please let me know during class so I can help you with it. In order to receive points for this video, you have to upload a completed pictures of your completed notes, and then be on the lookout for your assignment. It's going to be this time it's going to be a maze, so you have to be able to go from start to finish. We'll talk about it more whenever that time comes, but you're going to have like 2 or 3 different assignments with this. I am going to give you more problems than what I usually would because this is very important for you to be able to learn. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day.